Hi, Mark. Before the series started, Graham had made mention of this being a very important tour for the management. I was wondering, is this series going to bring us a bit of relief your way? How do you feel about the outcome?
Not relief. I think there's been a lot of hard work that's been put on, or put it behind the scenes. So I think I said it quite a long time ago that we are working on quite a few technical things and upskilling our players, and I think we've got an insight into a lot of the hard work that's gone on behind closed doors. So I thought the guys really played well. As a unit, some tough conversations that we had in Pretoria when we got together before we came to the West Indies, and well, we understand that the public and the necessity of us performing for the Proteas badge again, and I think the guys really pulled through, and that they played as a strong team.
Morgan?
Mark, congrats with the win. I'm sure you guys are absolutely buzzing at the moment. Firstly, how important was it securing a series victory? And then secondly, what was the most pleasing aspect of the two tests for you as a coach?
Look, it was important. Especially we haven't won away from home in quite a long time. So I think the belief factor for me was important for the guys to take that away from this. And I think the standout for me, they're going to always going to be individuals who get accolades, but it was really a team effort. There were a lot of individuals that came through that maybe didn't get the runs that they wanted, but there were partnerships over the whole series that really counted, and especially in tough conditions, and also difficult circumstances. We've spoken about playing bigger moments better, and I think we did play those big moments very well. And it wasn't, yes, there were one or two individuals who stood out, but every single player in the team played his part at some stage to get us into a situation where we could win tests, and that's ultimately what happened. So that's a pleasing part for me.
Leighton?
Hi there, Mark. Congratulations on the series win. Just in terms of the team dynamic, how things have been in the team, how important was it for the guys to get out of South Africa after being stuck in the country for a year, more than a year? Do you think that getting out of South Africa contributed to this as well?
No, I think it's a tough question. I don't think it has a big part to playing getting out your country. I think it's there's a couple of things that have gone on over the last couple of months where it's been quite tough on certain guys. But I think we had some good chats, and that happened in South Africa, and I think the team was prepared to move forward as a unit after that. So it's always very good. We haven't been playing a lot of cricket, especially away from home because of COVID, and understandably, but when you've got a young team, the best place for them to actually learn how to play cricket is in foreign conditions. So I think there were a lot of lessons learned. Although we didn't win in Pakistan, I think a lot of our youngsters learned a lot of good lessons from Pakistan. We came here, and they knew that these conditions are going to be tough. We had some good practices before, so we knew exactly what we were going to face up and front up against in the test matches. But this is how you develop players, by playing in different conditions, and that's where they start learning about their games and adjusting slight little adjustments to the games that's going to hopefully turn him into a world-class player one day. So I'd say yes, from the perspective that getting into foreign conditions is something that can only improve you as a player. But from a team perspective, these decisions were probably made before we even left South Africa. So yeah, it's a little bit of both, I suppose.
Ken?
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Mark. Congratulations. Dean Elgar has been talking a lot about playing boring cricket, which I understand is kind of like a return to the basics. Your bowlers just sticking all day outside off stump in that channel. Is that the kind of thing that you love to see? Because that seemed to play a major part in this series win.
Yeah, look, I think certain guys have got different language. Dean might say it's boring. We say it's just disciplined cricket. But yeah, I mean, the language that he's been speaking has obviously been, resonating with the players at the moment. So, good on him for bringing that sort of language. But yeah, for me, this is what Test cricket's all about. It's about being able to absorb pressure at certain stages, and then being able to apply. And I think that is another plus that our guys they're becoming smarter at choosing those moments of when to absorb and when to apply. So I think that for me is, if you want to call it boring at certain stages, yes, we have to be. But what is impressive for me is that there are certain stages where we could really, drive the nail in this series, and we did that, with batting and bowling. So yeah, it was impressive, and it's good to see that a leader is getting sending out a language and the guys are responding to it. I think that's important.
Telford, followed by Firoz.
How's it, Mark? Well done over there. From what we can see on television, the players seem to be responding very well to Dean Elgar as a captain, and he seems to be loving it. Would you agree with that? And how important is it when you have someone who is obviously a leader on the field like that?
Yeah, Telford, I think you've been around for long enough to know that when you're winning, the team's always going to be smiling. So I think it's a process that the guys have bought into. As I said, there were some hard conversations that we had before we left, where our state of our cricket, where we are as a unit, and the guys really want to start playing for each other again. And I think we saw that. So, it's how do you sustain that? I think it's important that we carry on with that and understand it is a process. Dean's also said that we want to start moving up the ladder. You can't become the #1 team in the world overnight. This is a long process that we've got to keep working on from a skill perspective, from being smarter, from a confidence perspective. I think we started off really well, under his captaincy from a confidence perspective, and the guys, as I showed you, that they ran with it as well. So yeah, it's all been going good at the moment. I'm looking forward to the time where we get put under pressure and see how we respond as a unit, and that's where we can judge where we really are. But it's a great start to his reign.
Firoz.
Hi, Bouch, well done. Just to follow on from that, it seems like everybody is, as you say, happy because you're winning, but it does also seem like there's some kind of mindset shift. Could you put your finger on maybe how that happened, or is it just a case of that things were quite bad and you knew they had to get better?
I think we sat around the fire in Pretoria, where the new captain asked a couple of questions about where we are and where we're going and where we want to be. Quite a few honest chats came out there, as they do around a South African fire at night. And the guys all really bought into a process that he wanted to, sort of align his reign with. So I think that's where we all sort of stood back and said, okay, fine, we're either on the bus or we're not on the bus. And thankfully, everyone decided that they were on the bus. And it doesn't only work when you're on the field. Obviously, that's where the results come out. But I think a lot of effort's got to be put in behind closed doors as well. The way we train, the way we talk, the language, the confidence, the way we speak to each other, all that type of stuff. So I think it's that is probably where it started at that fire. And from there on, it's just been process after process and just driving home a couple of good things in our culture that came from Skukuza, which is what the players actually put onto their value system. And I think we're actually driving that now, which is good, and that's probably why the team looks very happy at the moment, and the results are showing.
Can you still? We'll finish with you.
Mark, just talk us through your coach's eye view of Keshav Maharaj's hat-trick. You never actually was part of a Test hat-trick. You will know that I may be correct when I say that you were part of Sean Langerfeld's hat-trick back in 2005, but talk us through what you went through when you watched the hat-trick.
Honestly, I thought Paul played a bad shot just before lunch. We saw Kesh's first ball against Holder the other day. So we always knew if you could get the ball in the right area first up, then it was always going to be a nervous time for Holder. Not a great time to come and bat just before lunch. He managed to get the ball in the right area, and it was a nice sharp catch. Yeah, and then the way that he is bowling a good pace. There was a bit of bounce. I feel for De Silva coming in, he probably should never have been batting at that particular time. So he wasn't expecting to come out and bat there. The next minute he's out there facing first ball. He probably Kesh's worst ball of the lot got the Hattrick ball. But I mean, a great catch by Vian. But Kesh has put so much hard work into his action, into his skill work. You'll see that he's batting closer to the stumps now, and he's attacking the stumps a lot more. So there's been a lot of work that Kesh has been putting in behind closed doors. That it's moments like these that he'll remember for the rest of his career. But he also remember the build up into that result as well. So that's why I'm very happy for him. Coming in on the fourth day, picking up a five as a spinner is something that you always want to do, especially in the last innings. And Kesh, I know, is very hungry to pick up fifers, so he'll really, really enjoy this one and take, as I said, take a lot of confidence going forward into the next Test series.
And we've got one more question from Dennis, who is struggling with his internet. He's asking for a comment on Quinton's performance. Yeah,
Quinny, I mean, been through a tough time of late. He came into this series, with probably not the same amount of runs as what he would like to have scored in the past. But I mean, the way that he's been hitting the ball in the nets, the way that he's been off the field has been fantastic. His chatter on the change room is funny, it's light-hearted, and I mean, Quinny in that space is always going to be, it's always going to reflect on the way that he goes out and plays on the field. And I mean, the 140 he got the other day, I mean, for those of you who aren't here, this outfield was very, very slow. That could easily have been a 200. The 90 odd that he got the other day on a slow outfield probably was worth about 120, 130 runs. So, he was probably the impact, the X factor in this whole series. There was a lot of hard work that was put in by the batters up front to get the bowlers into like the third and fourth spells. But when you get an X factor player like Quinny coming in and being able to take the game on like that and really just take the game away from the opposition, it's always nice to be on his side. So very happy with Quinny, the way that he played, batted and kept. I mean, I think a lot of people just stuck look at his keeping. It's expected, but he was very neat behind the stumps and took some great catches as well. So I'm very happy that Quinny's in a very good space at the moment. So it bodes well for Project Cricket.
Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us. This press conference with Mark Boucher is embargoed for tomorrow at 6 a.m. South African time. Just so that everybody is aware of that, 6 a.m. South African time, this embargo for Mark Boucher's press conference, please. I will release some content with Dean Elgar tomorrow evening for you guys to be able to use the following day. Have a great evening in South Africa, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for your patience with all the issues.